It's so interesting that even the big timers, the big companies know that most people don't believe the information that's coming out. And they verbatim say right here, that's not just hearsay, the information they're about to provide, which is about B2B payments, B2B global payments, which is what XRP and all of these other Bitcoin companies specialize in, cross-border payments, but not just for retail, for the businesses. That's where the big money is. And that's a lot of what I've been paying attention to lately. Listen to this, right? And then after this, I'm going to give you this information, which should be potent. We're going to listen to the video and hear what they have to say. We're going to break that down. It says here, word of mouth is a powerful force. Haven't we been talking about that? Right? Word of mouth is a powerful force in B2B transactions. And a company known for slow, cumbersome, error-prone payment processes can find its reputation tarnished, leading to customer churn and lost opportunities. We've been speaking about that for a while now. And this is why they need the new technologies. They need DLT. They need AI. And that's going to result in trillions, possibly, if these companies do their job, trillions of dollars coming to those chains, the XRPL, etc. Everything that moves across the XRPL, as per David Schwartz, will have an impact on XRP's price. He said it multiple times in 2024, because people kept calling him out on it and asking him questions. But did you know these numbers? Listen to this. That's not just hearsay. It's the payments intelligence from the B2B, quote, B2B and digital payments tracker series, unquote. They put together an entire report. Can you guess right now how many, like the percentage, what percentage of these entities are experiencing slow payments in right now? You would think over the years they caught up, maybe. Let me ask you this question before I drop this on you, because it's powerful. Do you think they got better? We've been doing this about 4 years now. Do you think that they got better since we were first covering this information? They've been running all these experiments, all of these tests. The legacy system said that they were putting in, their implementations, their versions of DLT. You think they got any better? Listen to this. This research report found that 71%, folks, 71%. That confirms the other numbers we heard, didn't it? That confirms the other numbers we heard from another report from another company we read about a month ago. 71% of subcontractors experienced delayed payments from general contractors. Do you know what that means? That means there's 71% of these companies that are on the table that need the technology. 71%. Now, when I give you the next numbers, keep that 71% in mind, because that's a lot of value on the table. But we'll get to those numbers in a moment. So 71% of subcontractors experience delayed payments from general contractors. That's an increase from 60% in 2022. What? That's why I told people, to each his own. I told people the legacy system couldn't beat us. They can't catch up with us. That's why they're going to hand over that money. They're going to hand the money over. They have no choice. Sometimes you get a choice in life and there's a balance to everything. Sometimes you do not have a choice. They overestimated themselves. So now we've seen from all the major controllers of industry, they're demanding systems catch up. Wait, you might say, oh, maybe you missed a video or two. If you miss a video, you're going to miss some good information, in my humble opinion. Maybe you missed a video or two. Who was it? Let's just look at the ISO aspect. Just one. I just want to use that as an example. It doesn't mean you have to believe ISO 20022 is significant or not. Let's put that to the side. But just as an example, those who don't adopt that are going to get penalized. They already made that known. Yeah, there's going to be penalty. I read it straight from the article for you. I put the screenshot in the video for you to get the article, save it for yourself, and read it for yourself. What more can I do? There's nothing more I can do. They're forcing them to catch up. They have to get on this new system. And what did I say in the past? I said the new system only works if they all are on it at the same time. And that's why they're trying to force everybody to get to advance now. That's it increased. It became worse. Let me pose this to you. Let me posit this. Do you believe that Ripple doesn't know about this? Or Chainlink, Solana, Stellar, Algorand, Hedera? You believe they don't know about this? You believe they're not drooling inside their office at these opportunities? What happens is they just stay quiet. A lot of these companies like to just hit the ground running and get to work. They like to get to work. 60%. Now, wait, now I don't want to hold this other information from you. And I believe I have it. I'll put it on the screen somewhere. You should see it on the screen, or maybe it already happened. But let me go here because I didn't put it up here. Let's go cross-border. No. B2B payments total globally 2024. There we go. Listen, folks. So in 2024, and of course the estimates are gonna range. There's gonna be a little bit of a differentiation from different companies. But in 2024, it says the global B2B payments transaction market size was estimated at around $83 trillion. Folks, let me say that again. $83 trillion. Going into an era where crypto is unleashed, cryptos that were designed for B2B payments, cryptos that were designed for global cross-border payments, payroll, everything. You want faster transaction speed? Clearly they failed. The legacy system failed. We can provide it right now. It's just a few more barricades that have to be removed. So $83 trillion, folks, is on the table. Now, wait, I know some of you are saying be a little bit more accurate, a little bit more precise. Okay, that's why I told you to keep that other number in mind. Let's go back to that other number. Now, it says they found 71% experience delayed payments. So take 71, what is 71%? Right? What is 71% of 83 trillion? You tell me. That's what's on the table. It doesn't mean that the Bitcoin companies are going to take that entire thing, but if they take a huge swath of it, and they can take a huge swath of that. They're the best of the best. What does it do to that price if that happens? Let me get off for a minute. Let me cook. What happens to that price if they do that? Now, wait, keep in mind. No. I'm not going to let you get away. Keep in mind, this is merely one thing that makes that price go intergalactic. One. This is trillions B2B. Retail cross-border payments. That's a lot of value also. Interbank payments. These are all separate things. Interbank payments, trillions. RWA, real world asset tokenization, trillions. How many more trillions do we need to put in the pot, literally, that we can access? This is all legit. This is all serious business. Once again, in an age where crypto is being unleashed. This isn't like before. You're about to see these things happen. You're about to live these things happening now. We're entering an era of activity and action now. Over the next few years, you put a piece of all of those trillions together. What does it do to that price? You tell me. And then once you start to know stuff like this, these numbers are important. Also, let me give you another number. They're forecasting. Just hold on to your blazers, your sweater jackets, all that stuff. Hold on, because get a load of this. They're forecasting. This is just B2B payments alone. They're forecasting it to reach $124 trillion by 2028. I foresee a glorious golden age, as long as these companies continue to do what they're supposed to do, and the regulatory environment continues to be kind. We can sweep the whole table. We can, in my humble opinion. That represents a 40% market growth by 2028. Folks, this is an opportunity of a lifetime, in my humble opinion. Not financial advice. I'm just talking about what can happen. Like I said, I'm here for this big business money, this bank money. And it all looks amazing as of right now. And here we go. Key trends. Keep this in mind. This is coming from, I want you to keep this in mind. They're all telling you the same thing. When you have different sources telling you the same thing, all of these different paths leading to one conclusion, typically that means that's closer to the truth than you're ever going to get. So this is from, I just did a Google search. I'm not sure. They have some sources here. Let's see where they're coming from. If they'll tell me without me having to click it, because that's going to bring up. Okay, so this is coming from Juniper Research, this one here. All right. Juniper Research. Keep that in mind. And they're saying the key trends, number one key trend, digitization. That's DLT technology, folks. The BIS, the bank of all banks, let it be known that there's a differentiation between e-systems. That's your old traditional electronic systems. That's PayPal, that's Zelle, what's the other ones? That's Cash App, that's Venmo. Oh, I remember today. See, I remember all of those. That's Venmo. Those are e-systems. That's what their classification is. You know what digital is as defined by the bank of all banks, Bank for International Settlements? Digital is DLT, blockchain, hash graph. So their key trend here, number one, digitization. Now, wait, that's what brings us to this video. Listen to what they say in the first few seconds. Wait, let me see. I'm going to turn this all the way up. Hold on. Bear with me, and I hope this is the right video, because these websites are notorious for refreshing, and I don't like that. I do not like that. And I think they did refresh. Yep, they did refresh. Wow. Bear with me one moment. Let me go back. Let's see if we can access this video. There was a video here in the first few seconds, everyone. In the first few seconds, these people were talking about. They said, well, we have to do this for B2B to update B2B. But they said, let's not kid around. What we really need, and I'm paraphrasing, what we really need in B2B, these were experts, is digitization. And they refreshed, and they have like a bunch of videos here. They don't have them in order. And I don't know how to find that again once more. Wow. Bear with me one moment. I'm attempting to find it. I can't find it. I'm scrolling through these videos and I cannot find that particular one, but you'll see if you go on payments.com, you go to the B2B section, scroll through those videos and you're going to see it. It's there somewhere amidst all of these other videos. It's there somewhere. So there you have it. But they said digitization. So that's two different sources. That's why I wanted to show that. That's two different sources that are saying digitization is what they need. DLT, blockchain, hash graph. That's big money in an industry that is projected to reach 124 trillion. And they're doing, how much did they say right now? What was that number once again? Let's not forget the numbers. I know I'm the one forgetting. I'm telling you that let's not forget. I'm bringing you along on my forgetful journey. 83 trillion, somewhere around 83 trillion, anywhere from 70 trillion to 83 trillion. That's what they were moving in 2024. That's huge. All right. All right. So now here's something that was interesting. I did not see this. Did you see this? Now, a lot of these entities, we're going to move on now. We're transitioning on now to a little bit of Bitcoin news. Listen, I'm telling you, folks. Now, I want to clarify. When I speak about BlackRock and the mainstreams, a legacy systems control that they're trying to see the influence that they have over the people right now. I'm not including their mass media push because it hasn't happened yet. I've said that already, right? So there's a separation. There's an age right now where they're coming out directly and making statements. You're getting BlackRock to make statements. You're getting ARK Invest to make statements. And they're finding out now that their direct sway, they don't have a lot of it over the regular people. And I think they're watching that. And I think it frustrates them. This is why they're continuously coming out saying, hey, we predict this high price for Bitcoin, that high price for Bitcoin. They want to see how the markets react without having spent all that money on the media as of yet. They haven't done it yet. And that's why I was saying the other day, I believe they're a little bit frustrated and they overestimated their ability to pump the markets. Now, once again, that's separate from once they're sprinkling money around to established mainstream media. There hasn't been that major push yet, but they can do that. So I just wanted to clarify that's what I was talking about. Because some people may say, how can you say on one hand, that they'll make a big push at some point and it'll pump the price, but then you say that they can't pump the price. No, they've been coming out directly. They haven't sprinkled the money into the mainstream media just yet. I don't want to name names of these companies, but the mainstream companies. At that time, we'll definitely see if that works, and it probably will. A lot of people trust the mainstream media. They do. That's not going to change. They grew up watching it. So I just wanted to put that out there and make that clarification. But now we have this. I did not see this. So, but I remember hearing Larry Fink say this in the past, but he's reiterating it again. Why? Bitcoin price could reach, get this is what Larry Fink is saying. He's reiterating this. Bitcoin could reach $500,000 to $700,000, says BlackRock CEO. And I believe that he believes that. I do. Listen, folks, they want Bitcoin to rise to an unbelievable price. I feel like this is I think they're lowballing this price in their own minds. I'm not saying that I believe Bitcoin is going to reach 500,000, 700,000. I don't know. I'm not waiting that long. I'm not waiting that long. Before it hits that, I will have played in Bitcoin a few times before it reaches that high, if it were to reach that high. But I'm just saying, in his mind, I think he believes that. I think that's their low number. I do. They have big plans for Bitcoin, and I don't think their plan is to leave it in retail's hands. There's no way. Listen, they saw recently what happened when the central banks and the big companies take control of gold. They saw what happened over the last 2 years, watched it closely. You saw, if you are into gold, if you're not, go check it out. We watched gold rise from the bottom to a divine heavenly type of place in its price. And he looked at that and said, whoa, if we can do that with gold, we can do a lot more with Bitcoin, much more. So I think they have an even higher price in mind for Bitcoin. Does it mean they're going to reach it? No, it doesn't mean that. There's no guarantee in that. But I think that's their plan. That's their intention. All right. So I think when they say this, they're trying to keep people's minds here at 500,000. There's no other reason why all of these different entities would say 500,000. A lot of them are saying that. Forget the 700. A lot of them have said this 500,000 number. Why? Now, we could say, well, like I said earlier in the video, someone may bring that back to me to try to use that. Well, if all of them are saying something different, Mick, doesn't that mean it's closer to the truth than we're ever going to get? Like you said, you have to look at the source. When you're looking at neutral sources like what we were doing before, then that applies. When we're looking at sources that are not neutral, BlackRock, Vanguard, well, not really Vanguard, but BlackRock they speak for Vanguard. BlackRock is the biggest holder of Vanguard, and Vanguard is the biggest holder in BlackRock. So really they're one. They're really one. So, but when you're looking at asset managers like BlackRock, ARK Invest, Valkyrie, Wisdom Tree, they're not neutral. So the source matters. And when you have sources like that, no, it doesn't mean just because they're all saying the same thing that we're closer to the truth than we're ever going to get. No, they're not neutral. And they work shoulder to shoulder, hand in hand. They could be manipulating or trying to manipulate the minds of the people, keep their minds at this level. so that everyone's like, look, 500,000 looks great to everyone, and it's great. 100%, that's great. But what if it's supposed to go higher? What if it's supposed to go higher, and yet this is where our minds crystallize? Because we've heard it over and over again. Whenever someone's telling you something over and over again, is one of two things. It's either the truth, they believe it's the truth, or they're trying to brainwash you. It's one of the two. It's one of the two. They're either confessing what they believe in their heart, or they're trying to, crystallize something in your mind. It's one of the two. And there may be other possibilities, but that's what comes to my mind. So we've heard this 500,000 from a multitude of large asset managers. I'm just saying, if you're not financial advice, if you're a long-term individual in Bitcoin, I would watch out for these prices that they're saying. I really, really would. I'd be careful. I'm not long-term in Bitcoin. I'm not. I love Bitcoin now. I don't know if I'll love it later. Okay. I'm just being honest with you. I've said this multiple times. I believe in Bitcoin right now. Tomorrow, we'll deal with tomorrow. And when I say tomorrow, I mean the future. I would be careful of this, but this is what he's saying. 500,000. The catalyst, and I wouldn't write it off. I wouldn't. The catalysts are so big. They're huge. You see the video the other day. Now, that was one of my, it was so difficult to make videos the other day. Some days are tougher than others because we have lives. I have a life, right? But nonetheless, I still was able to get that information in. Now, the title of the video was referencing the second article. Did people make it to the second article? Did you see that? I think that was the one, right? Where the bio company, whatever, the medical company, whatever they are, was saying how they need to have Bitcoin. That industry, not them as a company, that industry needed Bitcoin to be able to have extra value to play with. Oh, that was major. That was major. Huge. That's a catalyst. Most Bitcoin people don't know. And it gave you an inside look into how businesses are looking at Bitcoin. That's huge. Things like that, folks. That's why they're looking at this. Look, these asset managers knew that before those people came out with that article. Before they did that interview, these asset managers knew. They put their feelers out. Folks, when I say they put their analysts and their researchers to work, I mean they put them to work. Holy smoke. They're making phone calls all day. They need them to produce results and have solid evidence. They knew about that before we did. And so that's what's been making them so bullish on Bitcoin. Things like that. There's too many major catalysts. There's too many. I've never seen anything like it for Bitcoin not to smash through $200,000 at some point in the next year and a half. I would be shocked, folks. I don't control how you feel or what you think. I'm me. That's it. I mean, that sounds crazy. I represent myself. That's it. And I'm saying this, and I stand firm when I say something. I'm a warrior. I'm not afraid to stand right here and fly or perish on what I'm saying. Wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I believe I'm right. There's no way with those kind of big catalysts, Bitcoin doesn't smash through 200,000. I wouldn't be surprised in a year and a half if Bitcoin is above 250,000. I would not be surprised. There's no guarantee it's going to happen, but the only way it doesn't, the only way, folks, is if there is a massive, I'm talking about a life-changingly massive negative catalyst. And I haven't seen that yet. I haven't. But, we'll see how this goes. As of right now, things look wonderful, in my humble opinion. And I'm not worried about any consolidation. I'm not worried about any dip correction right now. No, because I see all of that as temporary. I just do. I need a catalyst. All right. I need something real to say it's going to permanently go down and it's a bear market and it's time to think negatively about Bitcoin. When that occurs, then I will have that mind state of, okay, we have to adjust. Right now, I just don't see it. And once again, like I said, I could be wrong. You could disagree with me. I'm not here to make you agree with me. I'm not. But when it goes up, everything else will go up with it again, majorly again. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, everybody, let's get to the money.